Good evening, everybody. My name is Staff Sergeant Kendrick Powdrow. I've known Master Grand Sergeant Mayfield for about 11 years now. And from the moment I met him, he's always been a generous person. He's always shown me love. He's always been fair, firm, gave guidance at any time I ever needed it. I've called him plenty of different times, and he's always been able to remove himself from the uniform and just give me a real life answer to any question that I have. He's put me in perspectives and made me think. He's challenged me. He's always calling me, telling me, hey, have you done this? Have you ordered your business cards yet? You need to start an LLC. Trying to grow me to be that future person and the best version of myself. I got so many things, but I think one thing that sticks out in particular, when I was a Lance Corporal, I was really at a point in the Marine Corps where I felt like I was going to get out. And I don't know, I was counting down my days. I didn't really think about it too much. And it was something that I was like, I'm just going to kind of figure it out and get out, maybe go to school. And I remember I walked into the back of the building and he called me off to the side, and some things that he said to me will stick to me forever. He told me, he said, like, I see so much in you and I don't think you see it. He said, I'm trying to see you one day walking around as the next sergeant, as the next staff sergeant, because that's the type of future I see in you. And that literally moment that he probably doesn't even know was a shifting point in my whole career, because he was one of the first people that made it very evident that he cared about my success and my potential. So after that, I was like, wow, there's people that believe this in me. I didn't even believe that in myself at that point. So from that moment on, I told myself I was going to work my ass off. I was going to grind. I was going to do everything I could to make sure that I didn't let him down. And it hasn't always been a perfect road, but when I tell you, this man he's done so much for me. He's done plenty of things. He's mentored, coached, guided, you name it. Like he's done it.
Master Gunnery Sergeant Mayfield. Master Gunnery Sergeant Mayfield was one of the most influential leaders I've ever had over me. He was there for me and my husband moments after we brought our firstborn child into the world. He was at the hospital by our bedside, just making sure we was okay, checking in on us, and just making sure everything was good to go. When I boarded the plane to Afghanistan, it was under his leadership, actually, and I fully trusted him to take care of myself and others, and he did just that, and he actually exceeded that. When it came to his food service Marines, Master Gunnery Sergeant Mayfield always fought for his Marines, even if it was at a disadvantage for him. He's brought out my highest level of physical abilities that I had within me that I didn't even know was there. He was always tough, but with love. If you've ever worked for him or been under his leadership, you know what it means to withhold the values of God, family, country, and Corps, because he had embodied it always, at all times. When it comes to motivation, he is your guy.
All right, Master Gunnery Sergeant Mayfield. Another one for him would be his consistency, his resiliency, the Mamba mentality, as he says. He's been so consistent on knowing that he's locked in on wanting other people locked in. That's amazing. And getting people to tell their why, to the reason why they do what they do. What is your purpose? What is your why? What are you going to tell the people that got you to where you are so you can inspire someone else, so you can motivate someone else? Everything he's ever done was for someone else. You know what I'm saying? His greatness comes from helping others be freaking better. And it's amazing. It's amazing.
And that is something that I'll always hold on to. His teachings are something that I'll always cherish. Thank you, Master Guns, and you deserve everything that God has in store for you. He deserves it all. Thank you.
Today on the Connect Like Mind show, my very special guest is a mentor and friend. Today we're here at his lovely home, and we're going to talk about his Marine Corps career, his new book, second book at that, The Green Monster, and his family life. And that's no other than Mr. Morris Mayfield. How you doing today?
What's going on? Good
Oh,
to see
man.
you.
Pig. Yeah, or like as your wife normally says, piggy.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much for allowing me to come here and
Thank you for coming.
to get this exclusive interview.
Indeed.
Yes. So are you ready to jump right into the interview?
Let's do it.
All right. So how do you separate business from your career as a master gunnery sergeant of Marines?
Well, it's a challenge. One, because certain people may look at what we do. Hey, you got to do this way, this way, this way. You have to be all in on that. And some parts of that is true. But at the same token, you got to look at there's going to be life beyond the Marine Corps. And you have to learn how to show people that you can have a healthy balance.
All right.
The work-life balance is real. So being very mindful of being efficient at work. So not just being at work, but actually working, getting things done, and going all in on that. And then making sure that I'm managing my time when I'm off the Marine Corps clock, so to speak. And just where's the sacrifice? Is the sacrifice, watching Netflix? Is it sacrificing, spending time with my kids, or sacrificing sleep? I would prefer to sacrifice the sleep because my kids need the same amount of attention as my Marine Corps kids. I'll catch up on the sleep on the back end. So it's a challenge trying to balance both. But if you're committed to your craft as a Marine and you're committed to life beyond the Marine Corps, you have to start putting steps in place strategically to get to that.
Okay. I feel like that speaks of you as to who you are as being selfless. Definitely a selfless person.
I appreciate it. I mean, you have to put, as a military person, it's service before self.
Right.
So, and growing up in New Orleans and just being in a family environment, everything for me is family oriented. So doing for others, I'll get my blessing and seeing them shine.
Okay. Now, did someone give you a blueprint or advice on the steps for creating your business, or was this something that you just, learned while going through it?
Well, I would be lying if I said, yes, Mike gave me a blueprint. I guess vicariously through TV, you can say blueprints, watching people like Carl Kanai, Damon John, Master P. You see these people moving and shaking and stuff like that, but actual blueprint for doing the work in the military and trying to be an entrepreneur, it was trial by error. I had a passion for it. I still have a passion for what I do. So you start being an architect of your own blueprint just by trial and error. And now my mission and my goal is to give the game to everybody else. So reach one, teach one.
Right.
Because I don't want to say, well, you got to figure it out on your own. I think we failed, and in the military that a lot of people, you got to figure it out. If I give it to you, what's meant for you will be for you. What meant for me will be for me. So if you do it faster than I did it and you go be a multi-millionaire, that's cool. My time comes.
Exactly.
So that's how I feel about that.
All right. Now, as someone in a leadership position who has mentored so many people, including myself, and like I told you earlier, you're definitely a transparent person. Have you ever felt like you failed someone? And if you did fail someone, how did you go about fixing that situation or repairing that situation?
I've had many times where I felt like I've failed Marines. And anybody I've mentored. To be honest, I think of that. I think that's part of my drive. I never want to let somebody down. I want to be there for them. I guess I can go back to Staff Sergeant Bennett, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the most painful things for me was the very only time I've never asked him what he was doing that weekend. And, as you know, that Sunday I got that phone call that he was no longer with us, and that haunts me. So I always want to make sure I'm there for Marines. And, we make mistakes.
Right.
But the elevation comes with that maturation, and when you grow and you learn from those mistakes, I feel that you win. So how I've repaired a lot of those things is being present in the moment, being an active listener. And if I've been wrong, hey, I apologize. I don't make all the right decisions. I don't say the right thing at the right time all the time, because I'm very blunt.
Yes, you are.
And sometimes that wasn't needed at the moment. And, I make myself available if somebody says, hey, that hurt me, or I didn't appreciate how you handled that. And I try to give them my perspective on why I said what I said and did what I did. And if I hurt you in that regard, it wasn't there. Because my intentions is always pure. I love everybody. I want to see everybody win. My approach to winning may not be your cup of tea, and that's cool. But that's how I feel I've made that. I always have it in my back of my mind. I never want to fail anybody. And that keeps me up at night sometimes. Because I never want to miss a phone call. I never want to not be there. So how I correct that Staff Sergeant Bennett moment is just being present, active listening, and just being there whenever somebody needs me.
Okay. Being that you've done plenty of research on your first book and now you're coming out with your second book, what's your choice of book genres out there? And do you read a lot?
To be honest with you, I read in certain aspects. What I mean by that is I read the news, watch the news.
Mm-hmm.
I do read through a lot of books as far as, business books, and when it comes down to a genre, it kind of varies for me. Believe it or not, I actually like suspense thrillers.
Wow.
I like that. Growing up in the project, you have to have an active imagination. If you don't have a lot of stuff, and then with me being the only child for a certain amount of my life, I was my own friend. Yeah. So I had an active imagination. So whenever I got into the Hardy Boys and stuff like that, mystery books like that, it captivated my attention. And I actually like those type of books. But lately, obviously, I've been getting into more the business kind of books.
Okay.
Damon John, and just different things like that. So I have an eclectic collection of books, but I try to read something daily, whether it's the Bible, again, the news.
Right.
So I try to read something every day, especially having little kids. So I try to expand my vocabulary a little bit. We tend to have a little colorful vocabulary in the military. So.
Yes, indeed. So why did you decide to publish a second book?
Why I decided to do the second book was more so what happened from the first book. So a lot of people, I had a good reaction from the first book, and people was like, well, you gonna come out with another book? And then what I noticed was people begin to ask my opinion on things, or hey, what's the word for the day? What you got for me today? Just little quirks and stuff like that. So I said, let me just take a lot of these little quotes that I have and my own little affirmations, and let me just put them out there and just put it in people's hands. So that was what the driving force behind. Let me get back in the lab and start working on the next book.
Okay. Like we were talking about earlier, you were saying you've had some time during COVID. So I'm sure COVID played a huge part in the making of this book.
It did. But to be honest with you, it was a book in the making. So it was really, I want to say the first book came out 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
So I already started writing things down again. And part of my morning meditation is what comes to me through my conversations with God. And then boom, I just started jotting stuff down. And all the COVID did was just kind of consolidate.
Yeah, give you time to relate. All right. And how did you come up with the Green Monster title?
The Green Monster title came from my journey in the Marine Corps. Plain and simple. 1996, I was introduced to the Green Monster So for people that don't know, when you go to boot camp, they give you a book of knowledge and all the stuff you need to know. You know, Marine Corps history, customs courtesies, all these type of stuff. And they called it the Greek Monster. And that's where the name originated from for it. Now, for me, how I took that is that book was the launch pad to my career. Whenever I couldn't remember something, I can always go back to that book and be like, okay, they told me,
Right.
yeah, I got to salute the flag on this and this. I can go back to it because, you know, you get out of boot camp, you data dump, I'm home.
Right.
But that book was kind of like a guiding force to kind of keep you on track until you had that muscle memory. So what I want to do with this book, and just obviously play respect to my career and that part of it, that's how I just pulled that name over and just flipped what was on the inside of it, because it's knowledge in that book, and boom,
Okay.
that's how it came from.
Well, did you go through a publishing firm, or did you self-publish this book, second book?
Self-publishing book, I did do that. Work with the same people that guided me with the first book. They went through a bit of a transition during the COVID and stuff like that, health problems and things like that. So, but they were still supportive. Shout out to Tammy Johnson for that. And, you know, that group of individuals came together, and they know once I ask and I say, hey, I got this on my mind, buckle up. Because, you know, as soon as they say, okay, let's do it, I'm already submitting stuff.
Right.
I've already
the ground running.
Yeah, I'm the kind of person, like, if I say I'm going to bet you on something, you probably shouldn't bet me, because I probably already got an inside scoop on it. I don't gamble unless I know I'm going to win.
I know that's right.
So with the self-publishing thing, it was so freeing to do it and do it in my own time, and being able to kind of call those shots and say, hey, nope, I don't like that. Yes, I like this. This makes me uncomfortable, and so I enjoy the aspect of the self-publishing thing.
Okay, and it seems like you're talking a little bit about the process. How was the process different from your first one, since you did use a publishing company?
It really wasn't any different. Again, because I already had what I wanted.
Gotcha.
Walking into the door.
Okay.
So it really wasn't anything different from the first one, other than the fact that it was a short amount of time for me to put this book together versus the first one. The first book dealt with a lot of self-confidence, you know, years and years of writing stuff down. It's like, okay, put it together and put it out. This one I already knew I wanted to go full force with it, get something quick and get it out there.
Okay. So it seems like timing is everything. Did you have any doubts about this going forward, especially with self-publishing?
Yeah, I mean, the doubts, I mean, I'm human. You know, of course, there were certain doubts that were there. How will it be received? You know, because here I am with a title that's people like, what is that? And for me, also transitions that I've done in my military career, as you elevate, you agitate. So some people are always going to have something negative to say. And, you know, in the age of social media, everybody can get up their own little tribe to think the way they think and can go at you. So that was there. My kids are growing. My time is very limited. So those doubts that was there is like, will I be able to give the same passion that I gave with the first one? You know, because the first one was my heartbeat. You know, my grandmother's. You know, it's lessons I learned from them in that first book. You know, this one was just kind of like just me and what inspired me. What is behind the curtain? You know, people like, hey man, you like a robot. You know? I have feelings. I have self-doubts.
Right.
So there were some doubts that definitely kind of set in at the time, but you know, hesitation breeds procrastination. I wasn't trying to do that, so that's how the second one wound up coming.
Okay. All right. I also saw in your second book that you, well, the first book you dedicated it to your family, your immediate family, your wife, your kids, your parents. And then in the second one, you dedicated it to your aunt.
Yes.
Did her death happen around this time that you were writing the book, or it happened prior?
It happened prior to it. So, my aunt was always a big support. I mean, my family always supports me, but me and my aunt were pretty tight, especially after Hurricane Katrina. And we would always send messages to each other every day, whether it's a scripture or something like that, or I send a picture of the kids and stuff like that. And she would always say something upbeat to me,
Giving you your own affirmations.
Right. God is with you. I love you. My handsome little nephew. All that she would always, she would stroke my ego. And she fought a good fight with cancer, and through all of that, she still remained thankful for the life that she lived, and she made a profound impact on a lot of people. So, and she bought a couple of the first book,
That is awesome.
So, and I just wanted to dedicate that to her, because the strength that it takes to go through, chemotherapy, the strength that it takes when the doctors say, there's nothing else that they can do, and for her to display that strength, because when she called me, I was outside. I had just came home, and and she's like, I just wanted you to know, that I have cancer and stuff, and I'm out there snotting all over my car.
Aww.
And but through her telling me that, she's like, I'm gonna fight this. God got me. We good. The strength that she showed to move in that direction, it had to be something internal. It had to be something on the inside. So for me, I wanted to dedicate that wisdom, that strength that she displayed, and to celebrate the victory. Because ultimately, I asked God to heal her from that, right? We all don't want to see nobody.
Right.
And I got my answer.
Yeah.
Because cancer didn't defeat her. Her spirit defeated cancer. The body, we all live in a decaying body, right?
Yeah.
But her spirit,
present with the Lord.
Yeah, and it didn't damper her spirit all the way up to the end. So I definitely want to dedicate that, because those quick words can last. She'll say one thing to me. She'll send one scripture to me, or just say I love you, and that'll just launch the rest of my day. So I think she was kind of that. She embodied that green monster.
Yeah.
So I want to dedicate that to her. Plus, I've lost so many people to various forms of cancer in my family and my church family that were close to me. So, matter of fact, some of the proceeds from this book is going to go to cancer research.
Awesome.
In honor of them. So, yeah. Shout out to Aunt Nedra.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So for the people at home who are thinking about publishing a book, what's your advice on them budgeting for a book?
Well, if you're going to self-publish, I would tell anybody to at least $4,000, anywhere to $4,000 to $8,000. And the reason why I say that is you still need to have some kind of a budget for marketing. And when you self-publish, you are marketing. It goes as high as you take it, and it goes as low as you don't take it. And so having a base, not only just to produce the actual book, but also to be able to have those type of conversations where it's like, okay, hey, how much to spend on social media, how much however you invest in your marketing will be the results of it. Do you need that much money? No. I'll tell anybody that $4,000, $8,000, you don't need that. But I would suggest that to have that at your disposal if you're trying to get it bigger to a broader audience and things of that nature. And most of that is marketing money. As far as the actual production of the book, you know, $2,000-$3,000, you'd be good.
Okay. For other people who might not want to self-publish, do you suggest that they self-publish instead of going the route of going with a company?
I would suggest do your research. I would say do your research because to each his own. You know, it's just like the military. You know, hey, whatever your flavor is and whatever you're comfortable with, just be educated on it. Make an educated decision and just go full force with it. I think overall, again, just going back to the marketing piece of it, you know, the marketing part of it, you don't have those big name publisher type of money, right? So they have the money and they have the engine to be able to do that. So with you being a self-publisher, everything comes from you. So that's why I had said that big amount. But more so, if anybody would ask me, I would say do your research, the pros and cons. Everything has pros and cons.
Right.
And whatever you feel is best for you, and go with it. You know, would I be objective to a publishing company coming to me saying, hey, we want to give you a deal? I wouldn't. But, you know, make sure that the comma is a little further over. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I got twins.
You're right. Why did you come up with an affirmation book?
For me, having an affirmation, you know, I feel that your mind is a powerful tool. And whatever you put in your mind, there sure that it will be, you know. So you believe it, you'll achieve it. And when you speak it into existence and you prophesy that to yourself, because the affirmation is just nothing more than a prophecy to yourself.
Right.
And you put that affirmation out there, you believe it, you eat it, you sleep it, and it'll be so. You know, I used to put photos in my phone. I would take photos of stuff that I like. So if it's a pair of shoes I like, I would have it in my phone. And I've noticed, because I wanted them so bad, eventually I wound up having it and I would delete the photo because I got the shoe already. So I flipped that thought process and I would put affirmations in my phone and I would write things down and I believe it. You know, one thing that we have gotten so far removed from is writing things down. We want to thumb word out, you know, but if you write it down, I feel that's more power that you give to your vision. So if I write down there each and every day, I am a king, you know, I am a queen. I will not allow the negativity to guide my day. I am the vibe. I am the rhythm. I am the tone. You write these things down, I believe that you'll be that, you know. So I write down every day that I am a God-made millionaire. I write that down. I write that down every day. So when that happens, I won't be shocked. I'll be thankful because I've already spoken into existence, you know.
Absolutely.
I want to be the best father that I can be. I want to be the best Marine that I can be, you know. And I got to the top of the mountain. I got to be a father. I got to be the highest rank in the military, but I'm still hungry because when you say it and you believe it and you have this affirmation and you believe that, your mind will take you to so many places. Think about boot camp, right? Your mind told you, just get through this. Just get to the dinner meal.
Right.
Just make it to dinner. If you can make it to dinner, you'll be all right. And your body responded to that. You know, the atmosphere responded to that. You know, God already laid out the format for you. You just got to believe it. Why not write it down? Why not have that affirmation? So that's why I wanted to have that. Something quick, get your mind working, and get your day going.
Right.
So all it takes sometimes is just one word. You never know what somebody's going through. Prime example with this shirt, right? Somebody could be walking by, don't know who I am, could be having a bad day. This shirt can be a sign to them saying you are above average. We won. I don't even know you, but I may have saved your life. You could be having the worst day of all days, and I say, you know what? You're above average. That's an affirmation. So why not put it all in one spot and give it to the world?
Yeah, I like that. I also like that this is an interactive book. So people can write down, like use it as a journal or a diary and write down the things that they went through. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, because it is a journey. This book is a journey where you and I are communicating, right? Because we can talk about a plan, but if we don't put the plan into action, to me, it's just a dream.
Right.
You know, I don't live off dreams. I live in a reality. The reality of it is life can suck sometimes. And sometimes I just need a word to go out there. And what's better than reading somebody else's words than reading your own? So if I give you a page and I say, hey, you are above average,
Mm-hmm.
and you write on the next page, I am above average, and this is what I did today. You know, all I did was just set it off. I just lit the match.
Right.
You set the blaze. You know, so I wanted the book to be interactive, and I wanted to be able to touch and get you involved and encapsulate you into my world.
Mm-hmm.
I want to bring you in and say, hey, this is what we go do today. We're going to win today. Whatever form it takes, we win in today. Because no matter what, if you're blessed to put your feet on the ground the next day, that means you afforded the chance to get better than what you were yesterday.
Absolutely.
I'm not competing with you. I'm competing with me of yesterday. And I was blessed to get one more shot at doing it right this time than yesterday. Let's get it. So that's why I wrote a book like that.
All right, I like that. Now, do you think there will be a third book coming?
Yes, there will be a third book. There will be a third or fourth. Fifth. I ain't trying to sound like LeBron. No, but honestly, I have several books in the works. Obviously, it's going to be a volume 2 to that. Potentially an audio book for the first book.
Okay.
Possibly. Yep, I just said that. So.
Yes, this is exclusive. Okay.
This shall be so. And there's also I want to do a fictional book, loosely based on my life. Again, this is not exclusive. Just kind of my journey leading towards the military and what transpired on that journey of some of that. So it's loosely based on the adventures in the great city of New Orleans. And if you've ever been there, it's very colorful.
Yes, it is.
You know, and there's a reason for that.
And there's something always going on over there.
Something always going on. So, you know, I have that somewhere in the back of my head. Of course, there'll be another book after that. So there's several books that I'm working on. So there's definitely another one coming.
Okay, that's awesome and exciting. Now, to revert back to this third, well, not the third, I don't know if it's going to be the third or the fourth one, but with the book that you're talking about your adventure on, you feel like some people are going to look back at that book and say, hey, I was there. Are they going to be in their feelings about something that's in there, or they're going to let it go because they don't know if it's about them truly?
Well, those who know me, some of them be like, I remember that. Wait a minute. I know he didn't put, you know, obviously the names will be changed to protect the innocent. But some people will definitely be like, wow, okay, I can see that happening.
Mm-hmm.
And just the things that would shock my mom, right? Because my mom is very strict.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she don't play that.
Yeah.
But at the same token, you know, your parents can't protect you from everything, right? And you'd be amazed what can happen from one block to the next that you'll see, you know, as a kid. Because I rode a public school bus,
Mm-hmm.
you know, not the actual school bus, the city bus, right?
Wow.
Going to school. So you'd be sitting in the back of the bus and a guy sitting over there peeing on himself.
Oh my God.
You'll see that. You'll see people, you know, doing drugs, making drug deals. And so you get to go through those journeys. And my hope, honestly, with the book,
Mm-hmm.
although it'll be entertaining, is to let young people know that they're not alone. I'm older, but at the same token, I understand walking down those roads. Even if you're doing the right things and not getting involved in that, there is adversities, there's trauma all around,
Absolutely.
and being able to survive that and being able to tell a story and paint a picture for those young people to see it. Hopefully I give them some type of inspiration, because I'm an open book. I ain't never sold drugs. I don't drink, I don't smoke. I don't claim to be nobody's thug or any of that stuff. I am uptown. Don't get it twisted. But, I have some friends, I have some family members that they're real New Orleans.
And they live that life.
And they live that life. Some of them not here with us anymore. Some of them have changed their lives. And the point of the book is ultimately to show that you can change. There's always going to be a hook. I'm always going to bring it to something positive.
Right.
So I'm very excited about it, because the characters in there show different angles from the same story, but different perspectives on that story and how they all intertwine and how we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
And how the journey goes.
How the journey goes. How the journey goes.
So do you ever think that you'll start a book club?
The way my life is set up, the way my checking account and savings is set up, no. I mean, I would be honored to be a guest at somebody's book club, to actually run a book club. I have so much going on. Again, I have to be dedicated to what pays the bills.
Absolutely.
And have to be dedicated to my family. I am a workaholic.
I know.
I can own it now. I don't think that would be able to fit into the things that I have for myself, but I would be honored if somebody ever wanted me to participate. But for me to actually run it, that's just not on the table for me right now. It's kind of full.
I got you. So, as a man with many titles, one being father and husband, how do you balance that with being in the Marines?
Work-life balance. How I try to balance it is to be present in those moments. Like I said earlier, it's the difference between being at work and working. When you're working, you want to make sure that you're engaged in what's going on. You give it 100%, and you're being able to be impactful at work. Same thing goes with when I come home, and when I'm with my kids. My kids are very observant, and my kids will tell you in a heartbeat. I know I'm doing too much, for my kids can automatically say, "Daddy, you got to work. Daddy, you going for a run?" So it's like, okay, my kids know my routine. Maybe Daddy don't need to go for a run, or yes, Daddy's going on a run, and I'm taking you with me. And appreciating those moments and letting my wife know, that she's appreciated. I mean, for me, I spit game to my wife all the time. My mama taught me never forget the little things. So if I got you this way, I'm gonna keep on doing those things. So making sure that the moments are memorable. So when the times where I can't be here, they still have those moments and know it's like, okay, we had this moment and we get that back. And it's a challenge, but it has to be done. The sad part is, as a young Marine, you didn't see that. I didn't see it. We just saw that one side of your leaders.
Right.
So it's like, well, who teaches us how to be able to balance it? And nobody wants to address it until you get in trouble. So somebody saying, "Oh, I'm going through a divorce," or the police thing got called to your house.
Right.
Now somebody wants to give you some mentorship and counseling on how to be a good military father or mother.
Right. Or like me, I was like, I'm getting out tomorrow.
I'm getting out. The military don't care about my family or whatever. Because at the end of the day, it's a business. It is a business, But as a leader, we're in the people business, and you have to be able to make yourself transparent and like, hey, do I have moments where my wife is mad at me? Yes. Fortunately for me, she hasn't told me to go sleep on the couch yet. Right? Thank God for that.
Right.
But there's disagreements. There are times where I seem like I'm very cold towards my kids.
because I'm trying to get work on in the middle of a conference and, hey, Zoom meeting, go over there. But you want to make sure that you double back and get that into it. And so it's a challenge, but I try to make sure I balance those things out, especially with me being a workaholic. I try to balance those things out and give the appreciation and let them know that I'm here. So being present is the biggest thing that I would say to anybody in those moments. If you got 5 minutes, let your kids kiss you as many times they want in that 5 minutes. Let them ask you the same question 100 times. Can I watch the same movie 50 times? If that's what they want to do, that's what they're going to be happy with. Give them that moment.
Right. They're not going to forget that.
They're not going to forget that. And you're not going to get that moment back.
Absolutely.
So you want to make sure you have that work-life balance and try to make sure you're present and being effective in every facet of life.
Right. I totally agree. Now, what's something that you want your kids to learn from you and keep with them even after you've left this earth?
That's kind of a scary question because, you be looking at people documentaries and you be like, oh, man, their answer was...
She knew it!
No. I mean, for me, I think I want my kids, one, to know, to love God and know that, all things in life can happen through Him. Love their family, love themselves, and work hard. And daddy hustled, daddy grind. Daddy was aggressive. He was in your face, but he smiled and he loved hard. And I would want my kids to remember that, but more so know that their daddy loved them. However it came out, I loved them, and that everything that I did was for them. So my name means a lot to me. My dad, my grandfather, they had their trials and tribulations in life, and they didn't make it to a certain level in life. So I took it as a challenge for myself that whenever the name Mayfield was said, that there was a lot of positive attributes that was associated with it. Are there going to be negative things people are going to say? Sure, that's life.
Exactly.
But for my kids, I want them to be able to poke their chest out and hold their head up and say, this is the benchmark, and I'm going to surpass this because my daddy hustled to go past this. So now he's giving me the baton to do that. So those are the things I want my kids to remember and to be proud of, that, my dad, no matter what it was, he hustled, he grinded, he loved God, he loved us, and I love New Orleans.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You're definitely serious about your legacy. I always see you mentioning something about legacy or generational wealth or anything along those lines when I see your YouTube videos, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta look at it like this. I don't care who you are. If you grew up in the inner city, if you grew up in the inner city, you have had some form of trauma. You've had some form of trauma, and what is commonplace is not common. It's not normal. It's not natural, and addressing those things and realizing that there is something greater than this. I love New Orleans. New Orleans is so small in comparison to the world. I got to see the world. I got to go around the world and back, and then some. I want my kids, I want people to see that there's so much more to life and that it's your time. Remember how they would say, hey, look at the name on your uniform, blah, blah, blah. Yes, you want to make sure you give honor to your service and the legacy that the service had, but why not give a legacy to your last name?
Absolutely.
Why not change the narrative of your last name? You may have one of those last names that have gone and done great things. Cool. But this is your niche in history. This is your time with that name. What are you going to do with that time?
Right. Break the generational curses.
Break the generational curses, elevate it to a whole different level where now I'm forcing the generations that come behind it to raise their game up. and show that it can be done. Be transparent with them, be honest. Yep, I had my hills and my valleys. I've had them. I had the highs, I had the
You
lows.
used to give me that speech all the time.
But at some point you're going to get to the top and you're going to appreciate it. And so my legacy is definitely important to me, and making sure my kids know that they can be great. So.
Okay. And speaking of family, what is the key to having a happy and loving marriage?
Like I said before, my mother told me, son, never forget the little things.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to, in my opinion, if you want to keep a loving marriage, one, you have to have a spiritual connection and understand that, God put you in this situation for a reason. Honor that. And do the little things without being asked. Buy the flowers, put the toilet seat down, all those little things, and romanticize your mate. Don't stop doing what attracted you to them in the first place.
Right.
So I work out to keep up with my kids, but at the same token, I got to make sure, when she mad, she can at least be like, you know what, he still look good. Can't stand him. So you want to do those little things. If I bring a smile to your face, being able to listen, being able to give advice in certain situations, being the calming situation. Me and my wife, we play off each other, because at any given moment, you can catch a turned up version of one of us.
Mm-hmm.
And, when she's having her issues and things like that, I try to be that calming factor for her, and just encouraging one another. I mean, that's, I think, what makes us successful. And I pray for my wife. She may be asleep. I put my hand on my wife and I pray for my wife. And just never forget the little things, like my mom said. Shout out to my mom.
All right. What's next for you? We just got that exclusive on the books.
Right.
But what else is going on?
Right now, the biggest thing is just getting the Green Monster out there to the world, and pushing that. Obviously, the clothing line, elevating the clothing line to another level. Really, for me, it's just the next thing for me is just being a better dad. I mean, I have all these things that's going on, but
right.
my priority is to be a good dad. Being a good dad, being a good husband. I'm going to be a good Marine. I don't have a choice in that. I don't have a choice in that. You got choices, but you don't like the results of that.
Right.
But and just inspiring other people. That's what's next. That's what's next.
I think you do a good job at that. Been doing that since I've known you, and I'm sure you've been doing it before.
I appreciate
it. And then for my last question, can you please tell everyone where they can find your first book, and I guess eventually find the second one, and of course find you on social media?
Cool. So you got me on Facebook, obviously, Morris Mayfield. You can find me on there. There's 3 of us, there's 4 of us. I'm sorry, Morris the 4th, but there's only 2 of us that's on social media.
Okay.
So Morris Mayfield on Facebook. You also have me on Makassier Clothing, LLC on Facebook. I'm on there. My YouTube channel is Makassier 504, MOKACIA 504. Monday Motivations. At least about 75 of them already on there. So go get you some motivation for each and every day of the week. Instagram, same name, Makassier Clothing, Makassier_clothing, MOKACIA_clothing on there. And I am also on Twitter. Same name, Makassier Clothing, Morris Mayfield, whatever one you find me on there. The book, Gumbo Warrior, Recipe of a True Leader, is on my website, www.mokacia.com. It is also on Amazon.
which both books will be available on Amazon pretty soon. The Green Monster will be on there within the next. We'll be there on there shortly. It will be on there shortly. It's coming real fast, real soon. So you'll be able to find both of the books on there. You go to my website though,
Okay.
I'll sign the book.
Oh, all right.
It'll come to you signed.
All right. Keep that in mind.
Yes.
Well,
Potentially
Mhm.
at some point, hopefully, dealing with the pandemic and stuff like that, I would like to, obviously do an in-person book signing
Okay.
for both books. I did one for the previous book, and work got in the way,
Yeah.
and so I can only do that one. But hopefully, get out there and be able to do a in-person book signing. That hopefully that happens real soon. So,
All right. That's awesome. Hopefully I'm able to come. I want to be there.
without doubt, we make movies.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for allowing me to come here and have this conversation with you.
Anytime, man. Inspire before you expire. We all want to be legendary.
Absolutely.
We all want to be legendary, but here's the issue. You can only be a legend one time. But you can be great many times. So get out there and be great.
All right. I think that's what I'm trying to do now.
That's it. We have a whole bunch of great moments. And an accumulation of greatness results in legendary status.
Okay. Thank you for that wisdom right there.
Bars.
Drop the mic.
That's it. GOAT status. Now, you know what I mean by GOAT. I'll say that and I'll leave you alone.
Greatest of all time. No?
People say that.
What is GOAT?
For me, though, GOAT is God ordained. What is it? What did I say? Yeah, God ordained all this.
All right. God ordained all of this.
All of this.
All of this.
That's it. Favor ain't fair.
So I'm sitting here right now with Mr. Mayfield's wife, April Mayfield, who is actually a master sergeant in the Marines as well. So could you please describe Mr. Mayfield, your husband, and who's the father of your children, how he is in those titles, in those positions?
Well, as a father figure and the husband, I married a workaholic. And I have to be open and understanding that I share him with the world. His ideas are random and they come at any hour of the night. So just being, his grind is different from everybody else's. His thought process is to ensure that the legacy of the family continues outside of his namesake. Henceforth, why we have the fourth that runs around. But he's very loving and understanding. And we try not to take his passions away from him because he has a whole lot. So we try to let Dad flourish so he can do what he has in his brain because he has a lot in there that he needs to get out. So.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing that and being on the show with us today.
Yes, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So I'm sitting here with the stepson of Mr. Mayfield. And of course, your mother is April Mayfield. All right. So could you explain to our audience how Mr. Mayfield has been effective in your life as a father?
As a father, he's been around me since I was like 13. And of course, he taught me a lot of things I was supposed to know, like how to tie a tie and everything. But he also gave me a lot of life lessons that helped me get through college and helped me mature a little bit more.
Okay. Awesome. What's your name?
Michaela.
Well, nice to meet you, Michaela. Her name's Lily.
And what's my name?
What's your name? You tell her your name. What's your name?
Morris Mayfield.
Morris Mayfield the what?
Morris Mayfield.
Say the fourth.
Fourth.
The fourth. Okay.
Morris the fourth. Morris Mayfield the fourth.
All right.
That's
Awesome.
right, man.
Did she do her eyes?
Oh, I had a makeup artist in my eyes. Do you like it?
Yeah.
Thank you. How old are you all?
3.
You're 3?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I heard you all have a birthday coming up.
No.
No? No birthday coming up?
Your birthday is coming.
What?
Yeah, I bet it's
Oh, you tricked me.
No, my birthday is
August 23rd.
August 23rd.
Your birthday is August 23rd.
Yeah.
Oh. So how awesome is it to have your dad
We thought we did studying in the steps. Yeah, we did hunting in the steps.
Really? He has big muscles? Oh, your brother said he has big muscles.
No, we got tiny muscles.
You got tiny muscles and daddy has big muscles?
Yeah.
Oh, I heard you all like to go running with him. Oh, he has big hands? Wow.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, you got it?
Yeah. I was in my room, it was in the stuff.
I warned you.
Excuse me.
Okay, yes.
And I was scared in the storm.
Oh, you were scared in the storm?
Yeah, and I was.
You make sure you were okay?
Yeah, and I was going to mommy's room, and it's not the parade.
Oh, okay. You're a big girl. Do you guys sleep by yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
This
good.
week. We got this week.
Okay.
We will get this week now.
Did you know that your dad is writing a book right now?
No.
You
this
didn't
week.
know?
Yeah.
You did know?
Yeah.
Did you know, Morris?
Yeah.
Are you reading?
No, it was Daddy was reading. Yeah, what's that book doing?
What's the? I'm not sure.
It's like ground.
That's right.
It's on your head right now. It's just invisible.
It's not ground. It's just my hair.
Oh, okay. Where's your crown?
My crown's right here.
Oh, all right.
No, that's your hair. No! Yes, it is. No, it's not. I got a crown.
Whoa.
Did you get a crown too?
Yes, I have a crown. You don't see it?
Yeah. I got a crown.
Well, you all are so respectful.
Thanks.
You are very welcome.
Yeah. How about that trophy?
How about that trophy? Whose trophy is that? Is that your mom's trophy?
No.
No? Whose trophy is it? You don't know? Okay.
Yeah, look at that trophy on that bottom.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Have you won a trophy yet?
No.
You're gonna win many trophies when you get older?
No.
Oh no. Okay.
I was big.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in a picture. I was in a car racing. The push going to.
All right.
You got it.
Well, we're gonna say goodbye to everyone. So say bye to everyone.
Bye, everyone.
And say thank you for listening to Connect Like Minds. You gonna say that for me?
Yeah.
Say thank you for listening to Connect Like Minds. Thank you. You want to say it with me? I'll say it with you. Thank you
Say thank you.
Thank you
for listening
for listening
to
to
Connect Like Minds.
Connect Like Minds.
All right. Oh, you guys are awesome.